Hello, I'm in conversation today with Dermot Latimer, who's Chief Executive Officer of Point Group. And in this discussion, we're going to look and focus on digital transformation and particularly why it's important in terms of customer experience. It's the holy grail that every single brand is chasing. So Dermot, a very warm welcome to you, and let's start with the importance of innovation and why it's critical in driving differentiated customer experience.
We've always spoken about, customer experience, and we've spoken about omni-channel, so we've got consistency of brand and all the touch points for customers. I think what we found, again, particularly post-COVID, was consumers, there was mass adoption from a consumer and a customer perspective in new channels. Those new channels allowed brands and businesses to actually have hyper-personalized conversations at scale. So I could have what felt like personal conversations with a consumer, but a million at once. But the world is yet again about to fundamentally change. I think the whole CX world will see fundamental and a paradigm shift in about 2 years, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see Apple's WWDC conference. I would encourage anyone who has 2 hours in their life, it's on YouTube, you can sit and watch it. Apple have done what Apple will do. And if you watch that developers conference, they take you through a very intentional story. So they go through product update and new Macs and new iPads.
Right.
They then go into the iOS 17 release, which comes out in September, and the impact in what you already understand to be the Apple environment it will have, and it in and of itself is extraordinary. And then it culminates in the launch of the Apple Vision Pro. Now, what Apple has done with Vision Pro is to fundamentally change our world forever. While everybody else scrambled, and all the other big guys scrambled for existence and relevancy within the metaverse, nobody really understood the metaverse. And there's whether it's Roblox or any other platform, there was lots of different metaverse happening, and it was avatar driven. What Apple has done with the Vision Pro, it has created a new mixed reality. Software AirPlay now becomes SharePlay. SharePlay means that you can watch the same content with any of your friends at any point in time. What Vision Pro allows you to do is to experience that entertainment together. It allows you to be in touch with the real world while also being in an immersive experience. It's not rocket science to understand that the NBA and Disney Plus are the only two content creators who have partnered with Apple. We will have a reality with Vision Pro that you can step into a football game with your friends, and you can experience life on the pitch from your living room, while you can also see your kids doing their homework. It is going to fundamentally change how we do business. It is going to fundamentally change and drive the onset of V-commerce. So again, metaverse and V-commerce has always struggled because you couldn't give the same in-store experience or the same immersive experience within an avatar and with an animated or virtual reality. This will be mixed reality. This will be the closest thing to real life. You can stroll through aisles. You can experience product. It is going to be a fundamental shift.
So Dermot, I'm hearing a very grand picture that you're painting here, the NBA and Disney Plus. But what about smaller brands, local brands, South African brands? How do they need to get to grips with that concept?
Yeah, not every business or brand is NBA and Disney Plus, but that's the starting point. You will see, much like when Apple launched the App Store first. I feel like I'm a sales rep for Apple at the moment. I shouldn't be. When they all launched the App Store first, there were only 3 apps. In their pursuit of inclusion and open source, you can see what the App Store is now. The content and the partnership and the access points with Vision Pro will become open to all. I think what we need to do as a business or brand in South Africa, with the understanding that something fundamental may happen, it is something that we should be considering on a daily basis on what impact it could have in our business. I saw an interesting video online, and it was 20 years of automotive production. Who was the largest automotive production and whatever else in 20 years up until 2019. Tesla wasn't there. Then you look at the top 10 automotives, and you look at their market caps, and then you look at Tesla's market cap. Tesla can buy all of them and still have 70% of their market cap available. I think my push here is that customer experience has changed, customer experience will change, and change is the only consistent thing that we can expect.
So how do brands keep pace?
You've got to educate yourself, and you've got to be prepared to invest time and energy and effort into that education. You've got to expose yourself to new thinking. You've got to expose yourself to innovation. Again, the biggest killer to innovation is, now we tried that 3 years ago and it didn't work, or we looked at that 2 years ago. The world's a very different place today than it was 2 years ago. So I think business and brands must embrace new thinking. They must expose themselves. I mean, we do a weekly lunch and learn. It's not about our business. It's not about what we do. It's about innovative breaking boxes to rebuild them thinking. Can we apply all of it in our business today? Of course not. May we be able to in 2 or 3 years' time? I hope so.
But Dermot, it's all very risky, isn't it?
We have a wonderful risk and compliance officer in our business. When she proposes the risks to the business, if we take this action or if we pursue this process, and my push is always, but what's the other side of that coin? What is the risk associated with inaction? What is the risk associated with brands and businesses who don't educate themselves, who don't expose themselves to innovation that's happening? Right or wrong, Bitcoin was big and crypto was big, and now it's not so big. Some people took some risks, and some people, won and some people lost.
But you'll agree with me that the bigger risk is inertia, doing nothing.
Absolutely. What did Steve Jobs say? You need to make decisions. Because making a decision means you're moving, even if you fail.
There you go with Apple again.
I don't know. Maybe I'm institutionalized. I don't know.
Let's bring it back to point if we can.
Sure.
How would you be aligning digital transformation strategy in terms of optimizing or maintaining effective customer relationships?
Yeah, no, great question. I think for me, again, it comes down to our culture of customer obsession. So, we service, Unilever in the Middle East, well, in the UAE and Saudi, and we also service them in Morocco and Egypt. The job to be done for Unilever in all of those markets are all different. In terms of our digital transformation, our technology is modular in its design. We ensured that it was easily accessible. The UX and UI was easily understood. The information architecture has had some huge work done on it, but it's modular. So there are 16 to 18 different service points. I use the example of Salesforce. So if you look at Salesforce as a model, highly complex business, but super easy to understand the information architecture when you go to it. So Tableau does a particular job for a particular organization. Slack does a particular job for a particular organization, and Salesforce is its core platform. You can use Tableau without using Salesforce. You can use Slack without using Salesforce. There are organizations who use Salesforce with Tableau and Slack and some of the other products and services that they have in there. We've built our technology equally modular. So we have a Unilever or a Procter & Gamble who in the UAE will use our end-to-end technology for all modules, and we'll use a Nigeria or a Morocco who will select, because they have their own ways of working, means they will select modules that add value and does the job that needs to be done for that particular customer.
But you'll also agree with me that it's very difficult to implement because the pace of change, and perhaps more importantly, the pace of adoption of that change is very different in the different markets that you operate in.
For sure, and I think the advantage that we have is in the work that we have done over the past 4 years, and that is, I've sat in meetings with customers where they are our print management supplier, and I'll stop them very quickly and I say, we're not a supplier, and print management is just one of the things that we do. Okay, we are actually a strategic partner, and in fostering the customer obsession and strategic partnership with our customers, we co-create the solutions and we co-create the change management required to drive those solutions and we drive the education, we drive the workshops, the road shows in partnership with our customers to educate their workforce on the benefit and the real impact our solutions and our thinking can have on their organization. I remember speaking to the Netcare, phenomenal organization, the leadership in that organization and what they're doing at the moment will fundamentally change healthcare globally. The global healthcare community will look to South Africa for what these guys are currently doing and what they will achieve over the next 2 to 3 years. They're currently in year 3 of a 5 to 6 year digital transformation program that is extraordinary, and I could speak to you for hours about it. It is so interesting. However, what they quickly understood in that business, and I remember speaking to Sonia Winter at Netgear and saying that in any massive transformative process or in any digital transformation process I've ever seen, technology will do what technology will do. It's programmable. You'll work out the bugs and you'll iron out, but it is programmed to do and to fulfill a purpose, and we'll do it. The greatest point of critical failure in any transformation process is people. So being able to partner with our customers and educating, getting the buy-in and communicating and facilitating the understanding of this is the impact this solution or technology will have in your day-to-day and your organization's world.
Dermot, all well and good, I get it, but your entire argument is predicated on having the right workforce, having the right skills, and making sure that they are effectively and properly trained. And that's difficult in a market like this, surely.
I go back to the cultural work we did in our organization 3-4 years ago. We picked our value set very intentionally. And we value trust, and we value people. We're a people-first business. Innovation and integrity. We really, really thought about who it is and what it is we want it to be. Our vision is to be the world's most impactful and admired marketing investment partner. Those words, impactful and admired and partner, are very intentionally chosen. Admired organization, top talent wants to work with you. But that's all well and good. But if you don't have the infrastructure inside, you don't have the culture inside, they won't stay. And I always talk about the janitor story at NASA. And somebody asked him what he did at NASA. He said, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." Right? It's having that pursuit of excellence, and excellence is another one of our values. So in our business, we have intentionally built a culture of peer-to-peer relationships. So if anybody in our organization sees and feels that I am acting in contradiction to our values, they are free to challenge me and hold me to account at any level in our organization. We are no passengers, we are no egos. We have a relentless pursuit of excellence. We are a high performance environment. And what you'll find in NASA, again, it's another interesting stat from NASA, they've got a relatively higher, they used to have this data, might be old, they've got a relatively high employee attrition rate in the first 6 months, but a retention rate of 6 months plus in the 96th percentile. Why? They're a high performance environment, and if people feel and believe that they are a high performer and come into a high performance environment and they're not, they will get very uncomfortable very quickly. And that is a process you got to work through. And people, we're a people-first business. The people are the most important thing in our organization. They've got to be the right people. They've got to have the right commitment. And I use the expressions. I don't know if you've seen the movie 300, but the Spartans.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yes.
So the Spartans' most feared warrior race on Earth defeated the Ottoman army of 4,000. They were 300. The interesting thing about the Spartans is when you were a young boy going through a rite of passage to become a warrior, when you went through that rite of passage, you didn't earn your sword, you earned your shield, because they understood the value was actually in protecting the person to the left of you and the person to the right of you as a unit as you move forward, rather than just killing somebody and getting killed after you kill 3 people. That's the culture we're building in the organization.
Very strategic. It's very clever.
It's a safe environment. It builds trust.
Dermot, let me finish with this question then, and let's try and look into the future. Bring out the old crystal ball if you can. What trends are you seeing in the whole digital transformation landscape, particularly when it comes to customer experience? And obviously we can't forget the importance of the derivation of revenue in that respect.
I can share with you what we are preparing for at the moment. And I think mixed reality commerce is going to be a very, very real thing in the next 2 to 5 years. We don't know the adoption. I think those who are playing with the metaverse at the moment are floundering. I think some of the big tech companies out there who are innovating within mixed reality are going to win quickly. I think that has a huge impact on CX and on BX, on brand experience. So that's something we are looking at very carefully and tactfully, and we're very considerate about what education process we drive into the business and the investments that we make as a consequence. And I think obviously AI is a big one. Every day there's something new, the generative AI and the large language models. Again, I think you've got to be very, very careful and considerate. You've got to educate yourself around AI and where it fits into the business, whether it will drive real impact into your customer experience or whether it's a little bit gimmicky. We're pursuing a number of avenues with the better backed systems, for lack of a better word. So you look at the open source and the Microsoft backed stuff, the Google backed stuff. There's some really, really interesting generative platforms coming out who have just received some significant VC backing out of the US, which we're looking closely at. You got to play, you got to prototype, and you got to play with things and break things and see what works and see what doesn't.
And stay curious.
Stay curious. What happened to, stay curious and stay courageous.
Dermot Latimer, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.